She spends pages going on about the final straw, and the main reason for the act of the murder was an exploratory surgery on her vocal cords that Dee Dee wanted her to have. And then think about Dee Dee's autopsy report and how someone very heavily focused on Dee Dee's neck and her murder. After reading her explanation and reasoning for the murder being that, you can't convince me that she wasn't the one that helped Nick and who did the neck wounds to Dee Dee. I am not trying to accuse her of anything, but that gives me chills up my spine. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Gypsy Rose's book and some updates. And I say a little bit about Gypsy Rose's book because I want to be real with y'all. I am struggling. I am on the struggle bus. I don't know if I'm going left, right, back, front. Like, I don't know where I'm going. Up, down, where am I going? I don't know. This book is so boring to me. Is anybody else struggling to get through it? It has been out since mid-December. I was really excited to read while I've been listening to it. It's been difficult, I'm not gonna lie. There's a certain way that she words certain things when she's talking about them in this book that the way she says them, I wish that I had an example for y'all, but if you listen to the audiobook, you know what I'm talking about. There is a way that she says certain words that it's like, oh, it's just so cringy to listen to. It almost, you know what, if you haven't read or listened to it yet, I would actually recommend just reading it yourself because I was so excited just to listen to her tell the story and I wanted to actually hear her voice speaking, but it's the worst audiobook I've ever heard. I'm sorry, it's really difficult to hear. Before we get into this video, here's your reminder that I sell jewelry. I sell vintage jewelry over on my Depop, which will be linked down below. And I also sell jewelry that I make, which is also linked down below. We got some stunning black and gold, princess pink. This one is giving Elsa. I feel like some of these ombre ones would be great for your daughters. I know Christmas is over, but we cannot get over a little bit of an emerald green moment. I also have several pieces over in my shop in this style. There's a bunch of different colors. I still have storybook locket necklaces, and there are some of the silver dainty ones that have been selling very well. Those are still over on my shop if you're interested. I will have it linked down below if you would like to check it out and get you a necklace of your own, or you can get a gift for someone else. I don't like to give attention to these types of things, but I have to in this video because it's really funny to me. I've been seeing some comments from people saying that you're tired of hearing about my jewelry. And first of all, it's my business, so I'm gonna talk about it. That's how I provide for my son, is by selling jewelry and by making videos. So this is what I do for my child. I'm gonna shout out my jewelry every single video, but it's funny because when I do an ad read, I don't get as many comments from people saying, I'm so sick of this ad. But when I talk about my jewelry, when I'm the one sponsoring the video, some of y'all got a problem with it, and you know, maybe you should unsubscribe and move on to the next bitch because it ain't me. And this book is getting review bombed, but I don't even want to say review bombed because a lot of times that means that people are like reviewing the book for the sole purpose of giving it negative reviews just because of who it is. But no, these are reviews from people who have read it that are like, this book is full of lies. This book is full of BS. Who edited this book, or who was the person who went and read this book to make sure it was okay to publish? Because they missed so many contradictions in it. Like there's one where she's talking about shaving her kitty cat, you know what I mean? She says that Nick wanted her to shave or something like that, but then she also talks about how her mom wanted her to keep everything shaved to keep her clean, and it's just so cringy. But there's things like that where it literally contradicts what she's saying. Like, it can't be that your mom always wanted you to keep your kitty cat bare naked, but then you had to shave it bare naked for Nick. Like, which one is it? Like, there's a lot of things that are just contradictive. But apart from the lies and the contradictions, apart from that, this book is so overly sexual for no reason. For literally no reason. I think that Gypsy, and I can't diagnose her, I'm just a girl on YouTube talking shit, but I think she may have a problem, or you know, a bit of hypersexualness about her, which is fine, you know. There's nothing wrong with being sexual, but I mean, number one, not only are you not legally allowed to profit off the murder of your mom, which she's literally doing, But then you make a book after being a part of her murder, and in the book you're talking about your mom's virginity. You're talking like, what am I listening to? I'm sorry, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And I think I'm on chapter 3. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I have barely gotten through this book, and it is January 1st that I'm filming this video, and Mama is on the struggle bus. Who else is having trouble reading this book? I know there is some, I know there's lots of things I could talk about within it, and by the time I actually get there, nobody's gonna care anymore. But I'm just like, I'll start listening to a little bit, and I'm like, I could be doing something else with my time right now. Like, usually I like to listen to things when I'm like laying in bed at night about to fall asleep, and so that's when I've been trying to listen to it. Maybe that's just not the vibe. Maybe I need to like listen to it somewhere else. I have no idea. Like, I don't know, go set up a picnic in a cemetery and put on some earbuds. I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, the vibe is not when you're trying to go to sleep at night, because I'm just like, what in the world? And then I'm gonna have nightmares. It's bad. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? We're gonna go read some of these reviews. We're going to go read some of these reviews because they're just, I'm going to Amazon, by the way, because they have the best reviews. Okay, My Time to Stand, which, you know what? Really good title. Really good title. You finally get to stand now that you're a mom, you know? Not that you were standing in several videos that we've seen, but that's besides the point. Okay, so there are 35% 5-star ratings. It has a 2.9 out of 5. But there's 40% 1-star ratings on this book. Okay, so this person said, the first 10 pages alone are truly telling if you really pay attention. She spends pages going on about the final straw, and the main reason for the act of the murder was an exploratory surgery on her vocal cords that Dee Dee wanted her to have. She spends pages focusing on the fact that she felt like her mother wanted to cut open her neck for no reason. Now take these 10 pages of focusing on her neck and then think about Dee Dee's autopsy report and how someone very heavily focused on Dee Dee's neck in her murder. After reading her explanation and reasoning for the murder being that, you can't convince me that she wasn't the one that helped Nick and who did the neck wounds to Dee Dee. I am not trying to accuse her of anything, but that gives me chills up my spine. I have not read that review yet. That was just the top review. Oh my God. What are the odds? I've already told y'all before, I have not looked up the crime scene photo. I'm trying to protect my brain from seeing too much online, right? Even at 34, I'm trying my best. I stay on, the websites where I feel like I'm not going to be exposed to that type of thing. But I have listened to people give descriptions of what they have seen. And there was stuff on her neck that, like, I hadn't heard about, okay? It is interesting to me that she talks about this. She also in the book talks about, like, is her mom trying to make her jealous by, rubbing it in that she used to be a beauty queen? And I'm like, girl, that doesn't make any sense because your mom had you all over the TV in princess dresses. She was letting you dress up like a princess and go to the movies and stuff like that. So what do you mean was she trying to rub it in your face that she was a beauty queen? Like, you got to dress up and stuff like that. Like, why are you acting like you were at home in sweatpants, You were dressing up like a little princess. You still had a princessy room. Upon reading the first part of the book, it does come off like Gypsy was jealous. Like, I have never had any conversation with my mom where my mom was talking about, like, being younger and the really cool things that she got to do. Like, my mom seemed like she was hot shit when she was in high school, and I would have loved to see it. I mean, like, every time I see a picture of my mom, and she is just stunning. She's still stunning to this day. Does not look her age, let me tell you what. But she's so beautiful. And every time I see a picture of her younger, I'm like, man, I would have wanted to be friends with you. I would have been like, that girl's going to be my friend because she looked gorgeous. And like, I just bet she was so popular in school. But anytime my mom talks about being younger and stuff, I've never had this feeling of like being jealous of my mom's younger self. I understand her circumstances are different, but it's just so bizarre. Like, your mom is dead and you're saying things like, I hope my mom's proud of me. I hope that she'd be proud of me. Like, just weird stuff. But then you're making this book where you're talking about her personal life. You're talking about her in a sexual way. You're mentioning that you were, is she trying to make me jealous? This, that, and the other. And I'm like, girl, your mom was living through you. Okay? She was living through you. But it seems like she had jealousy of her mom or her mom's younger self. Maybe what her mom got to do that she didn't get to do, which to an extent I do understand. But like, with that, accompanied with what we just read, y'all need to let me know what you think about that. But it is very concerning to me that maybe there is a possibility. Like, there's some weird stuff. Also, she had bruises on her knuckles. We can't forget that. Why? Come on, let's call that for what that is. That girl was doing something with her fists. What was she doing that bruised her knuckles? What was it? She's never come out and made any comment about why her knuckles were bruised. Why has she not talked about that? That's what I want to know. I feel like if there was an explanation, apart from being a part of what happened to her mom, she would not have bruises on her knuckles. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The more I've the more that I've dug into this, the more that I've heard people speak and bring up certain things about it, I feel like this whole trial should have went a completely different way. I feel like Gypsy's innocent voice and, some of the things that I believe that she did go through really clouded the judgment of the jury. I do think there's a lot of sympathy for Nick too, which is just, I'm sorry, that ain't me, y'all. He literally did horrific stuff to this girl's mom. He's unwell. He needs mental health help, and I don't think that he should be out. That's for damn sure. I'll tell you that right now. But also, with that being said, I feel like too much of it was put on him and not enough on her. And I think that Nick allegedly was protecting her from her part in it, because there was an interview that he did not that long ago where he said that he still loved her. And, he's delusional. He's not well. And so I feel like there are certain things that she said, don't you ever tell them, allegedly. Don't you ever say what happened. And I feel like he's so unwell that maybe he would take I don't know. I'm not saying she was a part of it, but there are some very bizarre things about it. Like the fact that the wheelchair was staged in the bathroom, like they knew from the very beginning if they got caught, they were going to say she was in the bathroom because she didn't need the wheelchair. But she says, I was hiding in the bathroom. Why are you putting the wheelchair in there if you didn't need it? Do you know what I mean? You didn't need the wheelchair. Now your mom's dead. You don't have to keep pretending that you need it. Why did you stage it this way unless you knew I am going to stage this incident? I don't know. Why are there bruises on her knuckles? Why was her mom's... What's going on with this situation? I feel like in my heart of heart, I just feel deep down she potentially had something to do with it. I feel like she's famous now, and there's so many people who are kissing her butt and don't really look at the whole story, and it's weird. I'll never stop thinking that it is such a bizarre situation that this girl is a part of the murder of her mom, and she gets out of prison and becomes a celebrity, hanging out with Kim Kardashian, which I don't like her either, but hanging out with the Kardashians, getting like all this stuff. She has her own show. She has her own book. Like, what is going on? It's like Casey Anthony, except Casey Anthony, I believe killed her daughter, and this one, I believe, participated in the murder of her mom, allegedly. This one right here says, this book is made up of stories, contradictions, and lies. Everything is hypersexualized. She talks about sex constantly in this book. It doesn't matter if it's her parents or prison, there's a story about sex. No one wants to hear that. Then it's one implausible story after another. At one point, she says she shoplifts a pair of jeans on chapter 18 or 19, says the jeans are a hand-me-down, so not stolen. She said Dan was the first person she told she could walk. Later in the book, it's Nick taking place as the first person. Towards the end, she talks about her mother leaving her home to run to the store real quick. What? And you didn't take that as an opportunity? The night she went to see Dan in the hospital, she tried not to be spotted by the hospital staff that knew her. Why not? If they knew her, they could have helped her. You're telling me the hospital staff that knew her as a sick little girl that was paralyzed wouldn't have helped when they saw her walking around in stolen or hand-me-down jeans and a beach wave wig? I don't know the context of that. She talks about her drug addiction, 3 or 4 painkillers at a time. A 90 90-pound woman on a starvation diet, crushing 3 to 4 painkillers at once, putting them in her feeding tube. Then she just goes out and does stuff. This level of medication would knock her out. I work with addicts. This is not accurate. The visceral hatred and jealousy of her mother really stand out here. She takes inventory of every little thing about her mother and rips it to shreds. Her mother's weight issues, her teenage life, her eating habits, her sex life. Apparently, Dee Dee ate a whole can of biscuits for breakfast. She lived off milk and Pepsi. She brings up her mother's diabetes, but none of the other documented health issues that would have shown how sick she was. You think this will be about her abuse, but the bulk of this book is sex or humiliating her mother. I honestly thought people were being dramatic when they said honest reviews from people that paid for the book were being removed until mine was. If you need to silence people, don't put out something to be reviewed. It's common sense. This is just another one of your cons. Grow up, Gypsy. Wow. And you know what? She is not going to come out and address anything. You have people like Kyeluh giving her a platform, and it's like, girl, she needs to do an interview where somebody asks her the hard questions and she's sitting there and has to answer them. Why'd you have bruises on your knuckles, Gypsy? Why? I don't know. She only talks about her mom when she's in control of what gets put out there. But like in interviews, it's almost like it's said before she even goes out there not to ask questions about her mom or something. Y'all can never make me like Gypsy. I'm sorry. The damage has been done. If you go back to the very first video that I did about this, I had questions, but I believed that she was a victim more than anything. And now it's just like, it's hard to look at the pictures of her like in the hospital and just some of the situations that she was in and not feel like, especially as a mom, to not feel something for that girl in that situation. It's really hard for me to not. But then I hear all this stuff and I just got to put it into context. As hard as it is for me not to, want to have compassion for somebody in that situation, this is just a different situation. Now, before we leave this video, really quick, I cannot make a whole video about this because I don't think it's true. We're going to have to just stay tuned to find out. But there have been some rumors circulating on the internet that Gypsy and Ryan have been back together. And the only thing making me believe that it might be true is that Ryan has been silent. Where has his videos gone about Gypsy? They're not anywhere to be seen. This may be a marketing tactic or something because their show's gonna, like the trailer's gonna be dropping soon. There could be people behind the scenes saying, y'all need to go silent until we drop this. There's people working with them behind the scenes, giving them direction on what to do or not to do. It may be to get people, because if they don't say anything and all of the rumors are circulating and they just stay silent and then this trailer drops and then they start doing lives again, the revenue flies in, the attention flies in because people are going to be hungry for it, and it's a whole thing. So sometimes you got to remember stuff is marketing, but it is interesting that he hasn't done any lives. But it's probably, there's going to be a trailer here in the new year. Obviously, because it's only January 1st, there's going to be a trailer. There's going to be something coming out. We're going to be getting something with this soon. I have a feeling. There's also rumors that she had her baby, but I thought she wasn't due until February. So I don't know. It's been crickets out here. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe for more Gypsy tea. Please check out my shops down below if you would like to. My vintage jewelry is my Depop, and the jewelry that I make is on my Etsy. I ship orders out directly from my house, and it's so much fun. It gives me something to do that feels like a hobby, and it's just super exciting. So make sure you check out my jewelry, and if you want to see more Gypsy videos, I want to hear about it in the comments. How bad do you want them? Let me know. I'll see you soon for another video.